Welcome to our session introducing what Enable HR can do for you and your organization. Through the key features currently highlighted on your screen, Enable HR will help to make HR simple. As a leader and manager in your organization, Enable HR will assist you to take control of your record-keeping obligations, access up-to-date, legally compliant HR documents, automate HR processes and reduce the time that you spend on admin, track key dates and receive reminders through alerts and notifications, and provide a better experience at work for your employees by engaging your workforce with employee self-service. If you're attending this session, you are either at the start of your journey with Enable HR, or you may have recently joined your organization and need to learn how to use Enable HR. This means your Enable HR account may have already been set up with your employee data, or you're getting ready to set up your account and have recently been a part of one of our onboarding sessions. This is the first of 4 sessions that you can attend, depending on your individual circumstances. This session acts as a prerequisite to ensure you have a clear understanding of the functionality available to you within Enable HR. In this session, we will provide an overview of how to navigate around Enable HR, the account settings, including branding, branches, and user access, which covers security, what can be recorded on an employee record. We're also going to show you how to utilize Enable HR's employment law templates through checklists and documents, the different ways to communicate with employees via email, employee self-service, and assigning tasks, and what an employee can do in employee self-service, and finally, an overview of work health and safety. This session will include a few steps showing you how to use some of the functionality in Enable HR. However, we have further sessions targeted specifically on how to set up Enable HR and then how to use it on an ongoing basis. This session is a prerequisite for anyone needing to understand the functionality available in Enable HR before delving into it in a little bit more detail. So let's jump into the system so we can get started. This session is going to be done in an Australian demo account. For our New Zealand clients, the functionality of Enable HR is exactly the same across both countries. The difference sits in the content we provide within the system to meet the different legal requirements of each country. We also use some different terminology across the regions. What you can personally see and do within your Enable HR account will depend on the security and user access roles that you have been provisioned. There may be things I cover in this session that you can't see, particularly if you're not an account admin. However, it can be useful for you to know what functionality is available, and if you think you should have access, please contact the Enable HR administrator at your organization to update your settings. If you are the account administrator and require assistance, please contact our client support team. First, we're going to learn how to navigate around Enable HR. Enable HR utilizes a structure made up of branches to help you organize various types of records within your organization. And I'll provide a little more detail on this when we look at the account settings. If your organization is using the branch structure to separate and manage employees, you may have been given access to certain branches that you're eligible to view. If you've been given access to multiple branches, you can navigate between them using the branch locator just up here. Select and pick from the drop-down options of which branch you want to navigate to. Alternatively, depending on that structure, you can also click to navigate between the branches by clicking through and being able to see the sub-branches underneath. In the top right over here, you'll see a menu drop-down with your name. Under here, you can access your own view of employee self-service so that you only need one username and password to access Enable HR. If this isn't available to you yet, contact your Enable HR administrator so they can get it set up for you. Depending on your user access permissions, you may also be able to see the settings option just here, which will give you access to all of the administrative settings within your account. The actions will provide you access to all of our features that can be done in bulk, such as importing various records or information into Enable HR, uploading documents, bulk launching some of our checklists, such as online performance review. And the action that you might want to commonly use is the self-service messaging option just here, and we'll come back to that a little later. You may also have access to view the dashboards just here, and the Get Help option will direct you to our knowledge base that contains hundreds of articles to assist you with Enable HR. Down the vertical menu on the left-hand side over here, you'll see the different modules that you have available to you. These may differ depending on your organization subscription or what access you've been provisioned. You might be able to see employees, contractors, volunteers, WHS, or reporting. If you think there's a module you should be able to access but can't see, please contact the Enable HR administrator within your organization and ask for access, or contact our client support team. The module that you're in will be highlighted by its corresponding color. The workflows in each module are organized into 3 stages to represent the life cycle of that module. So we're currently in the employee management module, and you can see that's green over here. And so we've got 3 green buttons across the middle. These are our workflows, and they're divided into 3 distinct stages of an employee life cycle. So we have pre-employment, everything prior to coming on board with you, employee management, everything whilst they're an employee, and then termination, so checklists to assist with terminating your employees. Within these workflows, they contain our checklists, which are designed to guide you through all of the HR processes you may need to manage your employees from start to finish. These checklists are drafted by FCB Workplace Law in Australia and Langton Hudson Butcher in New Zealand to ensure that you're following both a compliant and best practice process. All actions completed or documents created from within a checklist are automatically saved to the employee's record. So jumping down to beneath those workflows, and you'll see your document management area just here with all of these tabs. For each module, the document management area will contain different tabs where you can locate a variety of information relevant to that module. The name of each tab will indicate the type of information it contains. In the employee management module, you'll be able to locate your employee records and all of their associated documents. Under library and awards, you can access a range of employment law resources, including templates, guides, and forms that the system comes pre-populated with. The Generals Doc tab can be used to upload company documentation. The mobile phone icon just here indicates that documents can be visible to employees via ESS, but it will be dependent on the document type and the status of the document. If you don't use an ESS applicable document type, they will only be visible to users through the management side of Enable HR. The Policies tab can be used to generate company policies from the templates built into Enable HR, or if you already have company policies, they can be uploaded to this tab so employees can access them through ESS. There are also tabs to manage tasks, approvals, and also alerts. And I'll come back to these a little bit later on. There are various search options available throughout Enable HR. They enable you to search for particular records or documents, and they also enable you to filter by branch or whether it's a current record. You can use these filters to update your list. Hit search to refresh that list. Please note that when you do search, you will only be able to see employees and documents that you have been given access to. Now, we're going to look at some of your account settings next. This includes branding and also the security settings that can be applied to an account in regard to who and what users can see when logging into the management side of Enable HR. So up in the top right, where we access the account settings under settings, we can navigate to the branding tab. Through here, you can upload your company logo and letterhead, so your account is personalized, and any documentation you create from Enable HR will be created on your letterhead. Under the Communications tab, you can update the settings so that emails and communications sent from Enable HR look and feel like they're coming from your organization. As mentioned, you can set up your account using a structure of branches. How you structure your account will be dependent on your circumstances, and you can use branches for different legal entities, locations, departments, or other ways in which you want to separate your staff in your account. Some clients will use a structure that mimics what they already have set up in their payroll system. When creating a new branch, you should always ensure that an integration API key is included, as it will assist with any integrations or importers you choose to use going forward. If needed, you can amend further branding details within your account at the branch level. In regards to security within your account, navigate to the Security tab and then to a user record. Navigate to their Access Control tab and then to Roles. User access roles enable us to control what a user can access or see in Enable HR. On this tab, you will be able to see all of the access roles that have been provisioned to the user. By default, all new users are provisioned with the account admin role. This role is the highest level access role and will allow the user to access all settings within the account. This role should be restricted to the highest level admin users of Enable HR, as it provides access to all of the settings of the account. If we click Edit underneath that Roles tab, we can see all of the available roles that we can choose from. Access roles work on a layering basis, so we do recommend starting with the lowest type of access you want the user to have and building up from there to ensure that you don't over-provision access roles to the user. In regards to employee management, so the employee section up here, there are a few different variations of that user role, depending on how much of the employee management module the user is entitled to see. For example, a user can be given access to all features of that module, selecting this top one here. Instead, they could be given access to everything but employment contracts. So you would select this option for them instead. Right at the bottom of our employee management options, they could be given access to employee management, but not be able to see documents, notes, or checklists. I'm not going to go through each of these roles in detail. We do cover them in a bit more detail in our second account setup session. And you can also visit our knowledge base articles for more specific information on each role that's available. So as well as being able to control what a management user can see in an Enable HR account, who they can see can also be controlled, and this can be done in a number of different ways. The first thing that we can do is look at the branches they can access. So this is one of the easiest ways we can control who a user can see within the account, and it's via that branch structure that you've set up for your business. This works particularly well if your branches have been structured by department, So simply select which branches the user needs access to see the employees within that branch. For your users accessing the management side of Enable HR, you will also want them to be able to access ESS as an employee. To do this, you will need to link their user to their employee record, like it's been done just here. So the system can identify the two different sides of the system that they will need access to. Here, you can also have the option to restrict access to their own profile. This will only restrict access on the management side so that they can't see notes and other information about themselves. As you would expect as an employee, they will be able to access the ESS view of everything within their employee file. If your branch structure isn't optimized to fully control who users can see within your account, you may want to take it to the next level and restrict access using the org chart so that users can only see employees that sit underneath them in that org chart. You will need to set that up on your employee records to be able to utilize this option. As a final option, you can choose to blacklist certain employee IDs from your users so that they can't see their employee record. You may choose to do this if you are controlling access through branches and you have two managers within that same branch you don't want to be able to see each other's employee records. You would simply enter the employee ID of each of those managers so that they can't see each other's record. Now that we've covered the main navigation of your home screen and also the security settings, let's take a look at an employee record and what we can do on an employee record. Within an employee record, you'll see that there are a number of tabs to help organize the information stored about employees. You may see a slightly different list of tabs available based on integrations, customization, or the access that you have been provisioned. Under the Details tab that we're on at the moment, you can expect to find employees' personal details, emergency contact information, and also their job details. Under the Documents, you can store all relevant HR documents related to the employee. Documents that you generate through Enable HR, either through one of the checklists or directly on an employee record, will automatically be saved to this tab. Any documents uploaded through tasks or through the training and qualifications functionality will also automatically get saved to the Employees Documents tab. For documents that haven't been generated through Enable HR, you can also upload them to this tab so that they can be accessed by management or the employee themselves through ESS, dependent on the document type. Document types are important for a couple of reasons. The document type, which you can see listed in this column just here, may impact who can view the document, including the employee through their self-service portal, and you may want to be able to report on particular document types in the future. You can view an article on our knowledge base for a full list of document types and whether they're available through ESS. To set up Enable HR, you're likely to want to use one of our methods for uploading documents to employee records in bulk, which is done through our integrations and import option up here. In regards to the create a new document functionality just here, we do say that wherever possible, we recommend creating documents through the relevant checklist rather than directly on the employee's file. This ensures that all applicable process steps are also covered to assist with compliance, as well as creating the document required. There will, of course, however, be times where you may need to create documents directly on the employee file, and this is why that functionality is there. The Notes tab just here provides you with a few different types of functionality that you can utilize. The tab stores important details, such as work-related changes, messages sent to the employee via the system, and reminders and observations regarding the employee's performance. Enable HR will automatically time and date stamp certain actions that are done within Enable HR and save them to this Notes tab. For example, when an employee acknowledges a message they've received in employee self-service. You can also generate tasks to be completed from a note, including requesting that the employee uploads a document or information through their self-service portal. You can categorize notes using the contact type and also the topic, just here, which can assist with reporting on them. You can mark notes as being sensitive. Only the person who wrote the note, account admins, and people with the specific user access role for sensitive notes will be able to see them. You can mark a note to be included during a performance review, and it will appear as a note at the start of the appraiser's review for the employee, provided the date falls into the relevant review period. It will not show up for the employee. If the note concerns another employee, choose the employee just here and link to the employee record if applicable. For a simple note, simply save it as closed just here, and it will only be visible on the management side of Enable HR. The employee will not be able to see it. If you want to turn a note into a task, select whether you're assigning that task to yourself, to the employee in self-service, or to another management user. You can also set up reminders or alerts, including recurring alerts for things such as birthdays and work anniversaries. There is a training tab to record information about training and qualifications for the employee. Prior to utilizing this functionality on an employee's record, you will need to set up a competency library through the Training and Qualifications Administration area, where you can access it just here, or through the settings at the top of your screen up here. To set up your competency library, like the one I'm showing you at the moment, you can utilize one of our importers under integrations and imports under your actions option up here, or you can create them individually on your account. Whilst this functionality is referred to as training and qualifications, think of it as widely as you can in terms of building out your competency library. We go into this in more detail in our training session, getting you up and running. But as you can see from the library within this account, you can use this for tracking anything against an employee record. Going back into an employee file, we have the functionality to assist you with managing your employees' professional development. There are two features that you can utilize. You can record objectives and development goals, and you can also run an online performance review process. These two features can be used hand in hand or standalone. The Objectives and Development tab just here stores an employee's short and long-term personal and professional objectives. These can be identified during a performance review period or at any stage during the employee's life cycle at your business. Employee objectives can be created and managed by managers or by the employee themselves through their self-service portal. Any strategic or operational objectives that are added and fall in line with the dates of a performance review will be included in the performance review if you use that functionality. The Performance Reviews tab, just here, will contain any information about any performance reviews that have been conducted with the employee through the online performance review functionality. This functionality also requires some additional setup before you can utilize it on an employee record. If you navigate to Settings, and performance reviews, under the Key Result Area tab, you will see that the system comes with a pre-populated library that you can utilize if you choose to. They are all linked to a standard 5-point scale. If you want to use a different rating scale, whether that's a 4-point scale, 1 to 10, a yes, no, you can set this up as a new rating scale under here. You can then build out your own library of key result areas that are suitable to your organization. Finally, you can set up groupings to help you easily apply the KRAs to your employees without needing to do it on an individual basis. For all of these steps, there is also an importer available for you to use if you choose to. Again, it's located under that integrations and import section up here. Once you have done your initial setup of performance reviews, you do then need to apply the KRAs or groupings to your employee records under that performance review tab. The final part of the process is launching online performance reviews, and this is done through the performance review checklist under the employee management workflow. There's a standard process and also a flexible process. Where possible, we generally recommend that you use the flexible process. You can also bulk launch these checklists underneath Actions and Bulk Launch Checklist. Next, I'm going to show you how to utilize the employment law documents that are built into Enable HR. Enable HR has a wide range of employment law document templates designed to support you through all stages of the employee lifecycle. From letters of offer to new employees and warning letters for underperforming to termination letters for unsuccessful probations or employees who resign. The recommended way to create this document is via checklists. This way, you know that you're using the right template at the right stage in the HR process. To initiate a checklist, you're going to want to choose the relevant workflow for the stage of the employee's life cycle. You'll see a list of all of the checklists that you have access to. Click on the plus symbol to the left of the checklist that you want to complete. You'll then select to either initiate a checklist, or if you're continuing with one that you have previously started, then you would select Resume. Select the relevant candidate or employee that you want to complete it for. And that would launch the checklist against the employee's record. Work through the checklist, completing each step as you go, using the action buttons down this right-hand side. If you need more information about the step, click on the info bubble underneath the description. Some steps will be compulsory and will prevent you from going any further until those steps have been completed. Some steps in a checklist will be optional, and you'll be able to select skip as the action item once you click into the button. In some of the checklists, there will be a step where you are asked to contact your HR advisor. If you have a HR team, please contact a member of your HR team at this stage. As previously mentioned in this video, where possible, we do recommend creating documents from our legal templates as part of a checklist to ensure that you have carried out all necessary actions and everything is documented. At the relevant step in the checklist, click Create, and then create a new document. You will then go through a question and answer process to enable you to tailor the template document to align with the details of the employee and their unique circumstances. Once you have completed that, you can review the questions and answers and amend them as required. You can also preview the document that you've created. Once complete, the document will have been automatically saved to the Documents tab on the employee file. If you need to go back to the checklist at any stage, it will just put that document in draft status so you can go back and complete it at a later point. For any of the guides or forms that are provided within the checklist, like this link just here, you can also access them from the Library and Awards tab if you need to use them outside of the checklist. The next area of Enable HR that we're going to look at is communicating with your employees. There are a few different ways that you can communicate with your employees using Enable HR, depending on the circumstances around the communication, particularly if you're wanting to send something to the employee or receive something from them. By communicating directly from Enable HR, there will be a record of the communication saved on the employee's record. You can send messages to employees via self-service, either individually or in bulk. And to do this, go to Actions, Self-Service Messaging, and click Create. If sending a bulk group message, you can segment who you are sending the message to by the branch through here, and also by the type of record that you're wanting to send it to. Enter a subject, and then the message that you're wanting to send. You can format this message as required, adding in external links, pictures, and videos if required. For self-service messages, you have the option to send it as a message that requires acknowledgement by using this tick box here. By ticking this box, there will be a note automatically recorded to the employee's file of the message that was sent, as with all messages that are sent. And then there will be a note recorded to time and date stamp the employee's acknowledgement of that message. This is particularly useful when sending out documents such as new company policies, as you'll automatically get a record of the employee's acknowledgement of that policy. You can set an expiry date for how long that message will be visible in ESS. And if we scroll back up to the top, we can click to attach a document and attach any associated document for that message. In ESS, the message will appear on the employee's notice board when they first log in, and also in their inbox for them to action. Using this type of communication, the employee will be able to read any documents you send to them and confirm they acknowledge the message and/or documents. We do recommend that you use this for non-personal information, as any time that this is used, the message will be saved under either current messages or expired messages. So this is how you're going to communicate mostly with employees in bulk or just sending out some general documentation to them. If you want to communicate with an employee directly, you would do it from their employee record, just here. There are two ways that you can email an employee directly from Enable HR. On the employee details screen, you'll see more actions over on the right and the option to send an email. You can also navigate to the Notes tab just here, where you can email the employee directly out of the system. By choosing to email an employee from Enable HR rather than one of the other communication options, please be mindful that you are taking the subsequent communication out of Enable HR, as it will then be in your emails, and if applicable, you will need to upload any conversations or documents back into Enable HR under their Documents tab. To communicate with employees individually through ESS, you can create a note, which we went into earlier, and assign the task to the employee via self-service. They will receive an email alert and a task in their ESS inbox. If you want an employee to be able to upload a document to send to you, this is the communication method that you will need to use, selecting Allow ESS User to attach a document with this task. If you want to send a document to an employee, you do it directly from the document underneath their Documents tab. navigate to the document that you want to send to them. Click on the name of the document, and then you should get the option through here to assign an ESS task. If you choose to assign an ESS task to them, the employee will receive it as a task in their inbox with your instructions and will be asked if they have read the document. They will be able to reply to the task with any comments and the agreement that they've read that associated document. We've now seen a few different examples of how tasks and actions can be assigned to employees or to you as a manager. So let's take a little look at how you can manage those through Enable HR. You can find items that you need to action as a manager under either the Tasks, Self-Service Approvals, or Alerts tab just here, depending on what it involves and what it is required. Under Tasks, you will find a list of the tasks assigned to you. Tasks are usually created when adding a note against an employee or candidate record, or it can be when sending a document. Tasks can also be created at various points throughout the process of completing a checklist. Users can create a task to serve as a reminder for themselves, or can assign a task to another user for action. Clicking on the title of the task will open the task, and then you can choose the most appropriate action, such as completing it, reassigning it to another manager, updating, or seeing its history. Under self-service approvals, you will see requests from employees via the self-service portal, as some information updated by employees will need to be approved by their manager before being finalized in the system. You'll be able to approve or reject requests in bulk or on an individual basis. If you want to provide an explanation for rejecting a request, you will need to do that individually. So you can pop in your reason and reject that just here, and if required, create a new task for them. To be notified of alerts, you do need to be subscribed to alerts and have an email address saved against your user profile. You can check and adjust your subscriptions without needing to speak with your Enable HR account administrator by navigating to the Alerts tab just here and clicking on Update Subscriptions. Through here, you can update your subscriptions based on your preferences. You can choose to receive an alert in the application or via email, so it may depend on how much time you are in the system as to whether you also want an email for that particular alert. You will only see alerts for records, documents, or information that you have permission to see. We're now going to move across to ESS using the Switch to Employee view up in the top right. When an employee or manager first logs into ESS, they'll see the notice board. Your notice board will show any messages that have been sent out from Enable HR. These could have been sent to a particular location or team or to the specific user. There will be two options depending on what was set, to either dismiss or to acknowledge the message, which shows up as I have read this message. When a message is acknowledged, it puts a time and date stamp on the employee's record to indicate that they have acknowledged the message and any documents attached. And you can see a document here. If I click on I have read this message, I will be prompted to confirm that I have viewed any documents. The inbox will display any tasks that have been assigned to that particular employee. These could be from a checklist, such as the pre-employment checklist, or from a task set in a note. It could be in relation to completing a performance review, or it could be in relation to updating information about competencies under their training and qualifications tab. You can see any messages or tasks that have been completed under the archived button just here. Under the Me tab, You will find all of the personal details from the employee's file. All of these can be updated by the employee, and they will go through to that self-service approval area to be confirmed. Under training and qualifications, this will show any competencies that have been assigned to the employee from the management portal or that the employee has added to their own record through ESS. An employee can update the details and attach documents to the competency through ESS. These do have to be approved on the management side, as I just showed you before the changes are officially applied to their record. Under My Documents, the third option down, they'll be able to access any documents from their employee file, but only of an applicable document type. So we've mentioned document types a few times. This is why it's really important to be able to identify what the employee can or can't see through their self-service portal. Employees can also access their performance reviews and also their own objectives in development through here. Under My Organization, a manager will be able to access the performance reviews of any employees that report to them. And then all employees will be able to access general docs and also your company's policies. If you have work health and safety, employees will be able to access all of your documentation through here. They will also be able to log hazards or incidents directly from ESS. They simply hit on Add a New Incident Record, enter in the details. They can upload a photo or a video if required and hit Save. That will then come through to the management portal. Depending on who is subscribed to alerts, will depend on who gets notified about that. I'm going to navigate back to our management view. And for the final part of this session, I'm going to go into our work health and safety module to give you a brief overview of the navigation and functionality available from within here. You'll see that the workflows across the top here have just changed color to red to reflect the module over here. For WHS, we split the workflows into a life cycle of 3 again: lead, manage, and engage on safety. These hold all of the checklists or the WHS processes that you may need. There is an extremely comprehensive checklist underneath lead safety called Setting Up Workplace Health and Safety Policies and Procedures. This checklist will assist you to create all documentation required and will provide you with some guidance as to what you need to manage your work health and safety obligations. And as shown in the other checklist, you just complete the steps as required, one by one. Under Manage Safety, you have access to checklists to take you through both hazard and incident management processes. And you also have one to assist you with injury management and return to work. In the document management area, these tabs just down here, you'll see that there are tabs to manage incidents and hazards. They can be entered directly in here or from your employees through their employee self-service portal, as I just showed you before. Under WHS resources, you will find templates and documents that we provide to assist you. There is also a tab called Add WHS Templates. And under here, you can upload your own templates. If you use our Setting Up Workplace Health and Safety Policies and Procedures checklist, this tab will be populated with templates that you create from within that checklist. Under WHS Documents, just here, you will see that the tabs correspond to the workflows. So lead and plan safety, you have lead safety, manage safety, and engage on safety as well. This helps to organize where the documents sit in the work health and safety lifecycle. You can upload your own documents to these tabs, and you can also create documents based on the templates pre-built into Enable HR. If you use that Setting Up Workplace Health and Safety Policies and Procedures checklist under Lead Safety, it will automatically save the relevant document that you create to the relevant tab within this section. Under Registers, you can see that we have a number of different types of register that you can use. There is a lot of functionality available to you within the Work Health and Safety module, depending on what you need to use. Now that concludes our introduction of what Enable HR can do for you. It doesn't show you all functionality within the platform, but it does show you a lot of what's available and what you can utilize. So what's next? This will be dependent on if your Enable HR account still needs setting up. If it does, then you should attend or watch the 2 sessions on account setup. If your Enable HR account is already set up and you want to learn how to start using it, jump to our final session on how Enable HR empowers managers, and this will go through how to utilize Enable HR on an ongoing basis. If you need a recap of what we've covered in this session, you can access our knowledge base where you'll find specific articles to support each of our training sessions. If you require any further assistance in setting up your Enable HR account and any of the steps covered in this session, our client support team are here and ready to help. The contact details are on the screen at the moment. Thank you for watching. I hope you have found this session helpful, and don't forget to attend or watch our other sessions.